Hello, beautiful people. Happy February 5th. Oh, it's a Friday. Friday, February 5th. That's a mouthful. Today's quote from our inspirational calendar comes from the Buddha. And I've heard this before and I like it. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. So that could be everything. Of course, I don't know about you, but the first thing that came into my mind has to do with our profession, right? But we don't have to think of it that way. We can think of it as, I want to be a wonderful sister. I want to be a great friend. I want to be a thriving entrepreneur. I want to be a great sponsor. Whatever those things are. I'm believing more and more about the power of our mind. It's been 4 years of trying to learn it in the background of everything else. So between the spirituality and the science, and it's kind of interesting that there's some crossover between the two of them, or at least that's my opinion. So if you feel compelled to, it might not hurt to do some research, practice it. Maybe you start with something, I don't know, simple of what you want to become to test this and focus just on becoming that one thing, whether it's somebody in recovery, or maybe it's I want to be a runner and you run your first 5K, or maybe I want to say maybe you want to be a mother and you get pregnant, but I don't encourage that. Anyway, I go to sleep every night with meditations that while I'm sleeping tell me the things I want to be. I am grateful. I am in control of my life. I am, sympathetic. I'm like all these things. And what I'm saying to you is what the recording says to me. And my subconscious mind gets to hear that throughout the night. And I will tell you, again, it's one of those reflective things. It doesn't feel like I'm changing in the moment. But if I look backwards, I definitely feel like I've changed. Not that it's all the meditation. It's obviously the combination of the different things. But if you're someone who doesn't necessarily maybe like to do the work right away, or you don't believe in this stuff, you literally have nothing to invest but your phone reading a recording off of YouTube to you all night. That's what I do. So you have nothing to lose because you're going to be in bed anyway, right? You're going to be sleeping. You don't lose time. So just food for thought. If you want a nice, easy kind of moving the needle thing. I'm turning my pages here. I wasn't prepared for February 5th. Here we go. All right. Now that I've given you some homework that isn't hard to accomplish. Louis L. Hay says, the point of power is always in the present. It's taken a lifetime of living to arrive right here, right now. Everything we've done has prepared us for this moment. Yet in this complicated web of life we've spun, threaded through its millions of moments, lay the seeds of our addiction. And looking back, we can see their growth. We can see their lines of stress and tension that run around and through. Coming to this awareness is critical to our recovery. So too is forgiving ourselves for the past. But equally critical to our continued recovery is living in the present, making one day at a time more than a slogan. It isn't easy. It takes a lot of practice to pick ourselves up whenever we fall into thoughts of the past or the future. But doing so is a skill that can be learned, a skill that rewards us with time in all its fullness. To do what we're doing when we're doing it, to be nowhere else but here, now, is to avail ourselves of the power of the present. It is to live where God lives. Today, help me keep my life simple and full by living life one moment at a time. This is a perfect opportunity. I told you a while back that I'm in a book club through the alcohol recovery program that I participate in, and we're studying Eckhart Tolle. And this reading is very similar to what he teaches. And he doesn't teach it through the lens of recovery. He teaches it through the lens, and this is all my interpretation, of just life. Like, you don't have to be an addict to get this principle or to practice it. It's all about being mindful and being present. So what do I mean? The classes I've been to, and you've met Patrick on one of the past shows, and I think he probably used it, I can't remember, but he talks about washing the dishes. If you could, while you're washing the dishes, do nothing but wash the dishes. So don't have the radio going or the TV going. Don't let your brain race, right? As addicts, our brains race. They're always going. And when you're washing the dishes, it's about the experience of feeling the temperature of the water on your hand, the soapy water, getting the gook off of the thing, paying attention and noticing all of those pieces of the process. And that's a simple example, washing the dishes. But the concept is, if you can start noticing and being present in the complete exercise, it's a good starting place to practice. I practiced a lot when I was in Aruba, a real lot, like really mindful, deliberate. Now, I'm not perfect at this all the time. I noticed that my listening, like that's another skill that I don't feel like I've ever done a good job at, and I still cut people off, and I still have so much opportunity there. But because I'm practicing trying to be present, it makes me a better listener. And when someone's talking to me, my brain might start going to the normal, they said something that triggered a thought. Let me hang on to that thought so I don't forget. When is it my turn to speak? Blah, blah, blah. Like that dialogue that's going on, to, that triggered a thought. Wait a minute. Your mind's racing. Go back and listen and just table it and go with it. And maybe by the time they finish speaking, I shouldn't have said what the first thought was anyway. That's something I've learned as this goes on. So the listening piece is important. But when I was in Aruba, I would go out and to the pool or the lagoon in the morning, and I would just be like, okay, I'm here by the water. I'm here with the lizards. I'm here with the sand. And just really practice just being in that moment. And when we were out on the UTV, instead of worrying about hurrying up and racing, or I don't know, just, it's interesting because I didn't have a destination in mind, right? I was just following the tour guide. So all I had to do was pay attention to what he was saying and enjoy it. Maybe that's what made it easier. But I can remember being very mindful of the temperature, of the scenery, of the sounds. It was different than, I think, how I've traveled in the past, honestly. I don't know that I'm always as mindful on those things because my brain does like to race. So that's what I get about this reading. And if you want to tie it clearly into addiction and recovery, let's think about the serenity prayer and how it applies to the future, right? Thinking about the future, things that we can't control. We can't control the past. We can't control the future. We can only control this moment. Like it doesn't get any clearer than that. So live in the moment that you can control and appreciate the moment that you're in. Appreciate the fact that you can make a decision right now. Like you can hit the off button. You could turn the volume up. You could drive the car. You could do whatever you want to do in this particular moment. The moment is yours. And it did take all of your life to get to this moment. Isn't that crazy? Like when you really just stop for a minute, like, oh, I'm in this moment. And this moment's over. Like but you've only had that moment once and you'll never get it back. So you might as well be in it. You might as well appreciate it. If you want to learn more about this stuff, like I said, Eckhart Tolle has a book. It's called The Power of Now, now being the present. And it's interesting. I don't want to say it's complicated. I know for me, the way that I read and absorb, I've had to listen to it a few times. And I'm in the book club so that I can actually get a better understanding of it. But it's pretty interesting. It's not like he uses big words and stuff. It's just a premise to wrap ourselves around about being in the moment. So I think he does a good job of explaining a really deep topic. So that's my humble opinion. So that's what I got for you guys today. So be present. Practice that today. Just pay attention. Is my mind wandering? Am I paying attention to what's going on? Am I like really listening to that song? Am I really paying attention to the road when I'm driving? Am I really listening to my spouse who's trying to tell me something, or my teenager? Whatever those things are, just be present in that moment. All right, beautiful people. You have a fabulous day. I'll talk to you tomorrow.